Bienvenidos. Soy la Bruja Espinada, and I am here with your new moon in Scorpio reading. So let's get started. There's currently a lot of retrogrades going on at the moment, so if you feel like you've been all over the place, or you don't know which way is up, which way is down, teeter-tottering, whatever it may be, there's a lot of reasons why. So let's figure all this out together. We're going to be starting off with the Eight of Cups. Ooh, very, very good card. Luckily, we have one this time. Very, very easy to decipher. Not that the other ones are too hard, but usually there's just so much more to add to those. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Cups, the Four of Wands, the King of Swords, the Nine of Wands, the Six of Wands, the Ace of Swords, the World, the Six of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands, the Page of Wands, the Page of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, the Two of Wands. I'm going to stop here. Might pull a few more, but let's get this sorted and figured out. So, Eight of Cups. There's a lot of things to consider. Things that have been experienced. A lot of emotions that have been felt over the years, over the months, over the weeks, over these past days. As you see here, this person seems to be contemplating looking off at the distance as they have sampled these many different cups of wine or whatever your delectable beverage of choice is. This is really taking into consideration past experiences, whether they're good experiences, difficult experiences, bleh experiences. They're all experiences nonetheless. And in this instance, as you are moving forward, because mind you, it's the new moon, we set the intentions for what we want to manifest, that we're going to start working towards manifesting. There are a lot of things to consider. The past few readings that I have done, that you may have watched, have been pretty heavy. The tropes are more or less the same. There's a lot of difficult things to have to overcome, and things that have to be put into practice, and bad habits that need to be cut. Now, when this Eight of Cups comes out, it is an indicator that you're really, really contemplating things, which is good. Sometimes the things that we contemplate are pretty heavy, and that's not a bad thing. And oftentimes, while they may be heavy, and this just goes to show that this is a different level that you're on, because now you're really taking into consideration what it is you truly want for yourself. All good things. Now, this card came out in reverse. It was the Three of Cups. It was the Three of Cups. And usually when the Three of Cups comes out in reverse, it's an indicator, because as you see here, it seems to be celebration, people embracing. But when it's in reverse, there are things to be cautious of, right? And it's very interesting, because then you had the Four of Wands come out, and usually the Four of Wands is, as you see here, a celebration of union, a celebration of coming together. Typically, it's an indicator of a celebration of matrimony, but that's why I say coming together, because it may not be that. It may be something as a partnership, a collaboration, that can be in regards to networking, work, a partnership, um, co-parenting. It could be anything, right? But in this case, it is interesting that these two come out right back to back. Now, considering that when both cards are upright, it indicates both of them indicate partnerships, good things, good tidings coming together. And considering that right now, if you do celebrate, the holidays begin next week, right? If you partake in Thanksgiving or similar practices, this could be an indicator of being cautious of what you want to share. Not everyone needs to hear your story, and especially since we had the King of Wands come out. The King of Wands is someone that's absolutely no BS. They are someone who is a master of how they wield their sword, how they wield their words. Very careful not to cut because they know how to cut. Just take that into consideration. I think that since the Nine of Wands follows this, that you've done a lot of diligent work to build something. You're similar to what the Eight of Cups is. The Nine of Wands is taking everything that you have experienced and building something with it. Now, I'm trying to provide this message without any discouragement. This is where my hesitation is coming in. Not that there's anything bad in this reading. It's more or less doing your best to weigh out. And the reason why is because this, where I finished pulling the cards, is Two of Wands. So this is a balancing act, right? In one hand, they have the world. On the other hand, they have the wand of determination, right? This, and it's a two. A two is usually a balancing game, has to do with decision, has to do with choice. And so these inverse and right side up cards are indicating that as you are going to be coming together with people more often, whether it's at work, whether it's with family, whether it's with friends, whether it's in any type of organization you participate in. The reason why this is coming out is because you're being asked to really be mindful. I don't want to say cautious. I want to say be mindful. Again, as I was saying with the King of Swords, the King of Swords knows how to wield their sword. They know what side's the pointy end and what side is the safest side to hold. And yet, understanding that they hold this power, they know exactly what will happen if they use it incorrectly, if they use it at the wrong time, if they use it without mercy. You're being asked to be mindful. You've had a lot of experiences to build a new life for yourself, to build these new dreams you've been aspiring to. And you've had a lot to contemplate about. You've had a lot of experiences this year, and the year's almost done. And when the Six of Wands upright is a sign of victory. When it's in the reverse, it's not that there is a failure, but there's still something to be learned. Something that still has to be mastered. And considering that the Ace of Swords also came out partnered with this in reverse, again, Ace is usually the start of a beginning. Swords has a lot to do with communication. Be mindful. Be mindful. In the things the word retort is what's ringing in my head. For some, and what's coming through is for some, we've all faced some type of a failure. And it seems as though there are people that you may gather with that don't let you forget what your failures are, or they don't hesitate to bring something up that you're so over that'll trigger you and set you off, that will make you revert to using words outside of this level that you've achieved. That's not a fault of yours. It is a fault of theirs. However, why this is here is because you're just being reminded that, look, you've had a lot to learn. You've had a lot to celebrate. You've achieved so much through these experiences, even if they're not great experiences. But don't let anyone bring you down. Don't let anyone snip your wings to fall. You don't want to revert to a place that you've long since left behind. Because we have the world here. This is your world. This is something that you've been working so hard to create. Don't let anyone else's judgment ruin how precious that is to you. Because it's not theirs, it's yours. And really, if you think about it, does their opinion truly matter? So don't let what they say knock you down. Turn your card right side up so that you are the victorious one. That you continue to soar and be the champion in this instance. I've told this story before, but with this card, I'm just reminded right now, so I'm going to bring it up so I don't forget it. This image that's being used here is the image of Daedalus. I've talked about it before. I've explained Daedalus before, or rather, it's the nephew of Daedalus. Daedalus was a Greek inventor, a genius of his time, and so he invented these wings with wax and feathers, and he invited his nephew to go with him. And so they were testing the wings, and he warned his nephew, do not soar too close to the sun because the wax will melt. And so Daedalus's nephew sees an eagle soaring super, super high up close to the sun. And so the nephew's like, I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna test it. And he keeps soaring closer and closer to the sun, trying to reach the height that those eagles are soaring at. And because he's getting closer and closer, he gets more careless, and he's like, I can do it. And he's yelling, and his uncle's yelling to him, come back. And he's telling his uncle, no, no, look, look. And he's pushing those limits. And then the wax completely melts, the wings fall off of him, and he's knocked down. He falls into the ocean, and he dies. Now, don't let your... It's another message. Like, don't let your pride, again, cause you to stoop to someone else's level. I'm also not saying be the bigger person, but be mindful in the way that you are going to retort or respond to any negativity of how, because someone might have been saying like, well, I had told you so. Or someone can be like, hey, remember when you thought that that was gonna work for you? Or, man, I bet you wish, whatever, right? It could be anything that can hurt us. Don't let someone else's hurt cause you to take 10 steps back. Okay? You're in a far better place now because you've learned. Okay? But also be mindful not to share with those that don't need to know and don't appreciate what you have accomplished. It's your world. It's your peace. Let's move on. We have the Queen of Wands. She also came out in a reverse. And with the Queen of Wands coming out in reverse, we're actually followed with the Page of Wands. Let's say someone wants to remark on you changing directions in regards to what passions you're focusing on. It could be because it's on pause, whether it's financial reasons, whether it's timing, whether there's just been a delay or a lull. And so in the meantime, you're honing your skills in another way. Again, don't let anyone say anything. And if they question you about it, share only what you want to share. Change the subject. Or start talking about, like, you know what? Or be blunt and say, hey, you know, well, there was a hiccup. But in the meantime, I'm working on this. When we're ready, the other thing will come through. Be mindful in the way that you utilize that information, that how you share that information. Similarly, we do have the Page of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands also that came out in reverse. They came out in reverse. The Knight of Wands, similarly to how the Page of Wands works, is that level-wise, it is an ace, or rather it's a page, it's a knight, it's the queen and the king. So in this instance, the knight would be what is one level up from a page because they're a little bit more learned, whereas a page is just walking in completely brand new and learning something. So, but the Knight of Wands also signifies a message coming soon. Chances are there is a message that has been delayed. And then when we have the Page of Pentacles, this is in regards to finances or learning something about finances or resources, a lack of resources at this time. It's just as an indicator of delay. And a lot of that time, especially right now, since it's going to be the holidays, things are taking a little bit longer. Just be aware that you shouldn't let this test your patience, even though you may be self-admittedly impatient. This is just an indicator of like, hey, really be patient. Be patient. Don't let it bother you too much, because what is coming to you is coming with lots of growth. But it's up to you to decide on how you handle that situation. So a reminder, you have the world here. Someone holding the world. That's you, that's your world. And here you're holding your world in one hand and the wand of determination in the other, the wand of passion. You can balance both, but it's up to you to figure that out and how to balance that. Here is stuff you already know. These aren't messages that are brand new. They've come out before. And being wise in the way that you speak, understanding that you've come a long way, you've worked really hard, and you've learned a lot of different skills. And you're still learning. And you have a lot of passions, and you have a lot of interests. And while people may negatively comment on those things, it's because they're unhappy. So, with that being said, I'm going to ask the Mighty Fates, what additional lesson do you have for our watchers? Especially with the retrogrades going on right now. It's a lot of wacky feelings to sort through and deal with. What additional lesson do you have to add to this reading? So yes. Ooh. Oh, okay. I don't think we've had this one for a while. We have play. Very interesting one to come out in this type of reading. But let's see what it's trying to indicate. In the process of becoming an adult, many of us have bought into the idea that all things we do must have a purpose. But one of the most magical things we can do is invest in ourselves in something that has no point, to simply act from a place of creation without any desired result or outcome. Feel called to make a fort? Want to paint or draw, collage, jump on a trampoline? Do all of these things and more. But don't do it for the picture, to make money, receive compliments, or for burning calories. This is not to say you shouldn't take pictures, make money, receive compliments, or burn calories. It only means to make sure that you're partaking in activities where you have zero expectations. Also, we can sometimes begin an activity and then notice its benefits. It may end up becoming an item on our to-do list or something that is no longer considered play. If you still want to do it, please do, but try to do it from a place of play, or find something else that is. And I find this so interesting because the word invest comes out, and the Six of Pentacles is the epitome of what investment is. That give to receive kind of a thing. And then you have this, the Page of Wands. That is the ultimate. She's in a child's pose. The sun and growth happening for this. Oh, love to see it. Love to see it. So do something fun. Something you've always wanted to try. Just for fun. Animal spirit guides, what do you have to add to finish out this reading? We have the Owl Spirit card. I don't think I've ever pulled this card. Could could be wrong, but I don't recall ever having pulled the owl spirit. So here we go. Owl spirit arrives to remind you that the wisdom within you is informed by your keen senses. Mercury retrograde. Owl spirit arrives to remind you that the wisdom within you is informed by your keen senses and the wisdom within the consciousness we all share. Even in the darkest night, the owl sees clearly and is guided by every sense it has, including the first sense of intuition. Right now, your sensitivities are turbocharged and you are receiving messages from all directions. Owl spirit reminds you to be wise and pay attention to what's between the lines, what is invisible to the naked eye, what cannot be heard with the ears, and what others may not be able to perceive. With all your senses aroused, you have much knowledge available to you. Clarity will come as you sit with all that you are sensing, allowing your intuition to guide you in understanding the whole and not just the parts. Let your wisdom arise and be your guide as you trust the acuity of all your senses. Intuition is real and can provide the clarity you need to understand your situation right now. Your relationship, your finances, your job, whatever it is, you can see the truth clearly now. Additional message. Are you feeling overwhelmed and overpowered by all that you are sensing? Are you highly sensitive right now and in information overload, feeling too much and taking in too much stimulation? The antidote for overwhelm is to become grounded and return to your safe nest so wisdom can offer you clarity and guide you on managing the flow. Take a break to ground yourself in the reality of your everyday senses. Go for a walk in nature. Perhaps you can stop to lie on the ground or hug a tree, or just stroll down the street beneath the soothing sky so you can regroup and clear your energy field. Your wisdom and ability to make sense of all you are feeling and experiencing will return as Owl Spirit reminds you of your need to get clear. Wow. I genuinely hope this message helped. Be mindful, be mindful, be mindful. Don't forget what you have accomplished, what you are accomplishing. Celebrate your wins. Don't let anyone get you down. So, hope this helps, and I'll see you guys next time.